Hello, we are live right now on the radio, WPAT 9:30 a.m. on your radio dial. That radio station goes to over 10 million people in the greater New York area. Hello, we are live right now on the radio. And what we're going to, and where it's in all of the boroughs, pieces of New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Connecticut. So everybody's listening. But we are also live on YouTube, and that YouTube account is YouTube at the Underdog Report. At the Underdog Report, and we're live here. And we have some fantastic guests today, very bleeding edge. We're going to talk about Iran. We're going to talk about Canada. We're going to talk about Greenland. We're going to talk about Davos. We're going to talk about ICE. But right now, I want to introduce my first guest. I'm very excited to talk to him because he has a lot to talk about. So I want to introduce to you Dr. Kazem. And you're going to have to help me pronounce your last name, Doctor.
Okay. Kazem Kazerounian.
Kazerounian. Okay. Right. You're a professor of mechanical engineering in the University of Connecticut. That's great. You served as the Dean of College of Engineering from 2012 to 2024. You're an advocate of democracy and human rights. God bless you. We thank you for that in Iran. And what I really like is that you are for a free country, a democratic country, and very important, nuclear-free Iran. There's a lot going in Iran, Doctor. Let's talk about it. People are talking about the son of the Shah becoming the new leader. There's people that want that. There's people that don't. Please bring our audience up to speed.
So absolutely, the Iranian people. First of all, I'm so delighted and thankful to be on your program and have a few minutes to talk to your wonderful audience. I was born in Iran. I came to this country when I was about 20 years old. I'm right 2 months before the revolution. And the Iranian Revolution happened because people were tired of dictatorship. There was suppression of ideas, suppression of people. My wife and I were in so many university classes that suddenly the police, the secret police of Shah, the security police, it was called Sawak, would come in the class, take students away, and you would never see them again, simply because they had the wrong book, they had the wrong newspapers, or they had said the wrong things. So it was that suppressive. It was that kind of dictatorship that led to the Iranian Revolution. And because a generation of intellectuals, a generation of people who could think and who could know, were executed or imprisoned by Shah, then we ended up with Khomeini not knowing him and not knowing better, not having ever practiced democracy as a country. So that is the background on why we had revolution. At the beginning of revolution, probably the first 2 years before Khomeini really took helm and take power, we had relative freedom. There were organizations formed, parties formed, people were freely talking about things. But then Khomeini and other mullahs forced such a religious dictatorship that for the past 50 years, for the past 48 years, Iranian people have been suffering under this barbaric religious dictatorship. Just last month, in month of January, people had probably their fourth or fifth, or maybe even more, uprising in just 10 years against this regime. And it was brutally suppressed.
Yes, I want to talk about that because we've heard bits and pieces. It's not really covered in the news. Maybe you have some inside information, but they're saying people have been getting killed. Is that true?
Tens of thousands. Many people.
Tens of thousands?
It has been that, yes, and actually it is covered in newspapers, but not probably as much as it should be.
No.
Thousands of people were killed, were shot on the streets, or were even poisoned, or were taken out of hospitals and killed. Tens of thousands of people have been arrested and waiting. Many of them face the danger of being executed. and tens of thousands of people were injured during these uprisings.
Wow. So they're trying to suppress the the riots and the people. Are they successful? Are people still protesting? Are still pushing for change?
Our people have been, Iranian people, big picture, have been pushing for change and democracy for the past 120 years, definitely under Shah's regime and definitely under Khomeini's regime. There has been probably at least a dozen major uprisings and hundreds of smaller, more distributed uprisings here and there. Yes, people want change. I think that you started with the key words. Iranian people want a free, democratic, secular republic form of government, one that is nuclear free, one in which men and women are equal, one in which people can actually form organizations, form parties, wear what they want, drink what they want, and basically live in peace with their neighbors. So
now, it's important to understand this. You know how things go. People want change, they stand up, and then they get oppressed, they get shot. So I know Trump is trying his best without getting too involved. We're not into regime change. We want to support things, but of course we want a nuclear-free Iran. What do you think can happen in the future? What are the options?
So I'll tell you what options would be disastrous.
Good.
There is a media hype these days that Iranian people, or some of them at least, are calling for the son of old Shah, the old monarchy, to come back. Nothing could be further from truth. And there are some certain interest groups that are pushing this. And I hope that United States and the West does not fall in that trap. Certainly, President Trump has said that he doesn't think that son of Shah is capable or ready or the suitable person for taking the lead.
And the reason for that is he's basically represents the old guard. Everything about him is the same from the past. Is that correct?
So he has been, for the past 50 years, for the past 48 years that he has been living in this country, he has practically done nothing, not only for peace in Iran, not only for regime change. He has never held a job. He has never formed an organization. He has never been an entrepreneur. He has never raised a dollar. He has been in about 25 disastrous initiatives in which the money of those organizations were looted or disappeared. So apart from politics, he's a totally inept person to begin with. You wouldn't hire him to do your lawn.
Now, Doctor, this is important. I understand that the people that you mentioned, that you represent, don't think he's the best. Do you have someone else in mind?
The Iranian resistance have been led by a democratic alternative which has the same aspirations that they meant. They want a republic government. They want basically to form a constitution that guarantees those personal freedoms, guarantees freedom of religion. And so that alternative is called National Council of Resistance of Iran. It is led by a lady, Mrs. Maryam Rajavi, who has a long history of fighting against this regime and also the previous regime. He has the 10-point plan, and he has a very detailed plan, which actually comes around to 10 major points, and that is a number of them we mentioned. It has to be democratic, it has to be secular, it has to be nuclear free, it has to live in peace with its neighbors, it has to recognize various ethnicities. Iran is consisted of many different ethnicities, And unless their rights are recognized, the ability to practice their culture, their religion is recognized, we will never achieve democracy. So
Well, Doctor, we've seen pictures of Iran before and Iran after. Iran used to be a modern country. People were dressed similarly in the West. It has changed drastically, hasn't it?
So yes, Iran had modernized aspects, but then again, I think that it was really a tale of two cities. A very small percentage of the people in Iran before this revolution owned the large majority of the riches of the country, and those were the people that lived a very rich life. And the rest of the country, no, there was running water in the cities was a rare thing. Electricity in outside the cities was a rare thing. Education was very difficult to come by with for a majority of the people. So Iran was a tale of two cities, and that was one of the causes of the revolution, because that the minority that you have seen the pictures of, and I have seen the pictures of, lived in certain parts of the cities, isolated from the rest of the people. They lived a glorious life, a life of luxury. And I wish that more people had a chance to taste a little bit of that. But we want a country in which middle class can flourish.
Now, I have a question for you. You were born in Iran, but I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, do you have Armenian background?
I don't. My name sounds like that, but I don't. I know.
Okay. Yes, a lot of people have have that. That's great. Thank you for that. And listen, we're on your side. You're a professor in America. You know what you're talking about. You're very well understood. Are you or people at least giving information to Trump about, what the people of Iran really want? Is he getting well informed?
I certainly hope so, and I assume so. Last year, the large majority of the Congress of the United States, through Resolution 166, among other resolutions, there have been multi-resolutions, basically declared some of the facts that I'm putting in front of you, and supported the 10-point plan of Mrs. Mariam Rajavi, and described the situation as I'm describing it to you. Many senators from both sides of the aisle did the same. A good number of well-known politicians, many of them close to President Trump, has been strong advocates of the Iranian resistance, including America's Mayor Giuliani and many others. So yes, there has been loud advocacy, loud, clear advocacy from really outstanding people.
We're getting to the end of our time. As you know, Doctor, Professor, I gave you a little bit extra time because I love this topic. What do you want to leave with the American people about Iran at this point? What would you like to say?
Iranian people and Iranian resistance are not asking for your money. They're not asking for boots on the ground, and it would lead to disasters. And there are examples of it. What we are asking is you, American people and American government, stand by people of Iran, stand with them, and recognize their right for resistance.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for joining us, Doctor. We appreciate it. Well, I'd love to have you back, and we'll see you again the next time.
My pleasure.
Good day. God bless you. And we're on to our next guest, Mr. Adam Finnegan. How are you?
Good. Very well.
Good.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. Love having you. We have some very interesting topics to talk about here. So let's review,
Yes.
if you don't mind. Give me a second here. We're talking about, well, I can talk to you about it, but I can't talk to everybody about it because I will get canceled even today. We're going to talk about COVID, the vaccine booster shot, biowarfare. And I want to tell you, I want to give you some background on me. I used to do marketing and social media specifically for Lyme doctors.
Mm-hmm.
some natural Lyme doctors. So I have a little bit of a background on this, and I've read your material, and I'm in total support of that. However, I don't know why. I can guess why there's still oppression on telling people that the vaccine wasn't the most healthiest thing in the world. And let me just give you some background. You're a survivor of Lyme disease. Believe me, Adam, I know a lot about that. Immune intolerance, and you've been battling health problems since you were young. I'm very sorry about it. But you are a writer, a graphic artist, a designer, an avid reader, and specifically about biological warfare. And these are things that are very in the groups that I talk to, the natural health groups, the health doctors. I was involved with one of the actual top doctors in the whole country. They all support this, but it's not in the media. I know that's a big background. Bring us up to speed, please, Adam.
Yeah. Well, I did write a book called The Sleeper Agent, The Rise of Lyme Disease, Chronic Illness, and the Great Imitator Antigens of Biological Warfare. And it is basically about these stealth weapons that cause slow chronic diseases. They're
It is. Here's your book. It's
right.
available on Amazon. The Sleeper Agent. Go there, pick a copy of his book. You will be well informed. This is an important topic. Please pick up his book. Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, and so it was this mechanism that he found that it centers around the scientist Eric Traub that people might be familiar with. He was on Plum Island. We brought him here in Operation Paperclip, but he weaponized all sorts of different biological agents and set them loose on us. And he discovered something called immune tolerance in the 1930s, which is like the mechanisms of this chronic disease, is like a chronic immunosuppression, but it's these little teeny antigens that cause it that are on the outer surface of the spirochete, and they're using those same antigens in modern day vaccines, and it's burning out the immune system. So my next book, when I write a second book, it's going to focus specifically on that and how it ties into the vaccines. This was like about biowarfare, but it does hit on that discovery of Eric Traub's, and it's just crazy that they just totally ignore that discovery now today. You know, they gave the Nobel Prize to these two guys about immune tolerance, but they made it about organ transplant recipients, and they
Well,
totally.
let me bring the listeners up to speed. You talked about Plum Island. Plum Island is an island off the coast of Connecticut. I think
Mhm.
it's like 3 miles. It's relative. It's very close. And there was experimentations being done there. Now, the official quote unquote government saying is that, oh no, the timing is totally off. They didn't do anything. But let's be honest. We've been around for thousands of years, and this has never happened before. How does a crazy disease just develop out of nowhere without human intervention? And now it just seems that way. So, talk a little bit about Plum Island and where we're at with the Lyme disease problem.
Yeah, Lyme disease was never around until I have it in the early 1950s is when it starts to make its appearance, and then in 1975 is when they basically acknowledged it and shined all the light on it. But it had been spreading for many years before that, and there was these early simulant tests that Eric Traub was running at Plum Island. Simulant as in a simulation. It's like we're gonna release these ticks infected with a harmless tracer bacteria to see how they spread out, to see, how a bioterror attack would occur and such. This was the logic. But he basically loaded up all these ticks. He says, oh, it'll cause a rash. It'll be harmless. That's the information that I had, and I backed it up with a lot of evidence. Um, these were these were done on Plum Island, and it was released on shorebirds. He released the ticks on Plum Island, and then he was traveling back and forth between Colombia and South America and Plum Island in parallel with the bird migration patterns. You see, so it's like I found they also had this bird program because the birds would spread the ticks far and wide. Um, so yeah, and then and it's funny because they try to say that the Lyme disease has been around for thousands of years and we found it in a mummy. But when I looked at that study, they weren't even sure if the bacteria was even Borrelia. But they were pushing that line anyway. And the next generation sequencing that they use is completely incompetent for Borrelia burgdorferi. And I did a long Substack article about that. But I basically put a whole chapter, I think it was chapter 13, where I just kind of dispelled all of their.
What is your subtract? Tell us what your subtract.
It's at AW Finnegan, Finnegan. So AW Finnegan.
A.W. Finnegan. Thank you. Tell me about the chapter in your book.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of great articles up that hit on a lot of stuff in the book. I just released.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you. You're going to show one of the chapters in your book. You were going to highlight.
Yeah, there was a chapter where I talk about.
Thank you.
Like all the attempts they made to dispel that Lyme disease couldn't have been a biological weapon. They say, oh, the bioengineering technology wasn't around then. He didn't need that technology or use that technology. He used certain animal passages. Like, you know how gain of function research, they pass things between ferrets and stuff like that? Well, before the days of bioengineering with recombinant DNA technology, they did bioengineering through these animal passages. So he would adapt them to new species, all sorts of stuff. He could modify pathogens, make them more neurotropic, so they would take to the brain. By running it through mice many times, it was something that was established. And I explained that very early in the book, how this is done.
It's very scary, and there's been a lot of research lately. I don't know, and I haven't read up on it, but they're saying the relationship of Lyme disease to things like cancer, things like Alzheimer's. Is there a link, Adam?
Absolutely. It's what I call the dark triad of immune tolerance. So he found when he did this, when he induced this immune tolerance, it brought chronic neurodegenerative diseases, chronic diseases of all kinds, and cancers. And also the mental, like psychiatric problems could occur. They don't all occur at once or anything, but those are the three things that you can expect when you induce that. And it's like, that's what I call the dark triad of immune tolerance. And
I want to let you know that I am a trail runner. In New York, I ran into trails twice a week, once a week at least. I'm in Florida. I run on the trails. I just want to give a message out. If you are out in the woods or even in the grass, anywhere, please, when you go home, take a shower and do a tick check, because your life is very important. And I have friends of mine says, oh, I get ticks all the time. I just pull them off. You know, that's not doing a right check. I hope you don't mind me mentioning that, but people, please be careful. I know that you got Lyme, you're struggling with it. I'm very sorry about that, Adam, but you're handling it very well, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. I'm pretty active. I mean, it's something you get kind of used to, but you just do your best with what you have, you know. And there's actually some amazing work coming out of Japan from somebody I know seems like he's had great results in reversing a lot of this. Through something called plasmapheresis. It like you'd give yourself a transfusion. It like takes the blood out, filters all of the biological pathogenic material out, and then you get it back into your system. He's been having great results with it. His name's Kevin McCarran. He's out of Japan, but so I think there's definitely hope that you know, like these things could be solved eventually. It's just that good luck with pharma getting them, you know, because. What my book shows too is that it looks like our public health system has been taken over by enemies, basically, and used to our detriment.
You're not the only one saying that. I think Kennedy is saying the same thing. We're all into maintenance, not cure.
Yeah, definitely. It's been hijacked, and I would bet this. I mean, I say in the end of the book that it just seems like our public health system has been hijacked and turned against us because they had this guy. So there's this Soviet bioweaponeer I talk about in the book named MP Chumakov, serious hardcore Stalinist communist bioweaponeer. And he teamed up with Albert Sabin in the 1950s to make the polio vaccine that would be given to millions of Americans. And then Albert Sabin got his son Konstantin Chumakov a job at NIH or NIAID. And then he eventually made his way to the FDA. And then
Oh boy.
he was in charge of vaccine safety and review at the FDA, and he approved the COVID vaccine.
Well, we've got about a minute left, Adam. What do you want to leave with the American people? What should they be doing? What would you like to see changed?
Yeah, I mean, the book explains, like, the more people know about this, the less it can hide under all of these. Once you know how the game is played, because I break that down, how they hide everything under benign research, all this stuff. I also talk about a law that has allowed them to continue testing on the population without our consent through these loopholes. And I explain that in my book. And that's something that is just absolutely horrifying. We need to get that removed. They have no right to be testing on us. But
A-
knowledge is the key here. Knowledge
There
is
you
the key.
go.
The more people
AW,
know.
A.W. Finnegan, The Sleeper Agent, The Rise of Lyme Disease. Pick it up at on Amazon. It's right there. You will be educated about this, Adam. I really appreciate your time. I hope to have you on again. This is a personal subject to me. I've been around Lyme because I've worked with doctors very much. So again, we appreciate you having on. And any quick last word you want to say to people?
Thank you very much for listening to me. Check out the book, and maybe sometime I'll be here again.
I hope so. Thank you, and God bless you, Adam.
Bye. God bless.
God bless. And we are here alive. Casey, is that you?
Yes, sir.
There you go. All right. Thank you for joining. Thank you for we are going through what we call rapid fire interviews. So we're going to be talking to you about counterintelligence, the Arctic tsunami. We're talking about China. We're talking about Canada. We're talking about Greenland. All the great stuff in the news. Is that what we're talking about today?
Absolutely.
Thank you. So you talking about recently about the World Economic Forum. Let me tell you a little bit about Casey. You're an internationally recognized keynote speaker on national security, on intelligence, and strategic risks. You are, as the CEO of Black Ops Partners Corporation, sounds scary. You are the forefront of evolving strategies affecting global leaders. I want to talk about those strategies because there's so much going on for the everyday American. It's hard to grasp. This is why talking to people like you is so important to give us an understanding of what really is going on. Let me turn that over to you, sir.
Well, yeah, to me, it's just another Wednesday or another Thursday, right? But to the audience, this is all seems like it's not connected. It sounds, and the bits and pieces they're getting sound scary. But most of what's going on in the news today is all part of a grand strategy and a grand plan. It's called unrestricted war by the Chinese Communist Party. They are the grand puppeteer over Russia, Iran, Pakistan, Venezuela, North Korea, drug cartels, and underneath Iran, you've got Iran managing the terrorist organization. So the most important thing on anybody's plate today is really to get their hands around and their head around what this Chinese Communist Party thing's all about. I decided to write a book because no one else would. I'm not a book guy. I never wanted to write a book, and I still don't. But it came out about a week ago, and it connects the dots. It's written for every American, and it connects the dots on everything that's going on. So Minneapolis,
Tsunami. Here it
Davos.
is. I love the name, the red tsunami. That's a wave that goes over you, and the tsunami is basically you're talking about China. And wow, this is very topical. It just came out. Tell us about the book.
Well, it connects all the dots of really what's going on. All these different things that are going on. COVID is biological warfare, but then there's COVID-2, COVID-3, and other nefarious viruses. Don't forget what just happened in Las Vegas. They found a stash house, a lab in a neighborhood residential house, a very, very serious lab. That a year ago they found one in San Francisco, San Jose, but now this one's in Vegas. So all this is biological warfare. The issue is that this is on sovereign American soil.
I believe there
You've
were
got over
I believe there were hundreds or thousands of vials there. I mean, it was just, I saw a picture. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. So, what do you think's going on? I mean, somebody needs to connect the dots, and that's what I did in the book. I run an intelligence group. We're part of over 400 intelligence and subject matter experts around the globe. The book has over 20 endorsements by the who's who in intelligence and subject matter experts. And they said, yeah, this book has to get out. The people have to become informed. The people are on the front lines. They don't know it. They don't understand it, but they are on the front lines, and it will never go to military if the Chinese Communist Party is successful in destroying the United States. So that's biological warfare. Drug warfare, fentanyl, the numbers double what the government reports. It's about 150,000 a year. It's like World War II never ended. And those are murders because those are not soldiers. Those are military aged young men and women going to college, being 20 somethings, trying to get through life. And they're murdered because they took a pill that thought might get them a quick temporary high. So those are murders. And by the way, it's just like World War II never ended. Why is that not on mainstream media? It's the same as two 737s going down every single day. Why is that not in mainstream media? Why is mainstream media not covering this Las Vegas drug lab, bioweapons lab, like they should be?
Okay, you mentioned something I don't think is in the news that maybe I don't know, I'm aware of. You're talking about people dying from the COVID vaccine today, even today, because you don't hear that about anymore. Is it still going on?
It is still going on to a lesser degree because the virus has been out there and it's mutated and the body has adapted to it. But there are still deaths, according to COVID, that are coming out into the weaker populations, the very young and the elderly.
Now, you mentioned something about on the material I got, there's something that happened in Davos with Canada and China. What's going on?
China they have been for the past 2 decades with our facilitation by previous administrations. They've been very, very aggressive, taking up land partnerships and you name it, positions, ports, everything around Latin America, South America, Africa, around the world, because we took our eye off the ball and they went unfettered and unchallenged for the past 2+ decades. Now Trump is trying to beat that back with Venezuela. Venezuela was the forward operating base for the Chinese Communist Party, Russia and Iran in the Western Hemisphere.
Wow.
And we allowed that. And the same thing, Iran is the forward operating base for China and the CCP and Russia in the Middle East. And we're working on beating that back. But they are our most serious enemy, the most formidable enemy the planet has ever seen. And we've been facilitating, funding, and paying their way to destroy us. Their strategy is called unrestricted war. And what that is, it basically means every American person, human, man, woman, child, Canadian, the rest of them are on the front lines of this war. But your government will never tell you that. And the government put you here.
Casey, that's an important point. China has a lot of money. The money basically comes from America. We know that. There's so many things that are being done there. Everything's made in China, so they have money. Is this money influencing our government officials in any ways, do you think?
Oh, yes. It's called foreign influence. And a lot of our congressmen take CCP money in their reelection PACs.
That's legal? That's legal?
Well, yeah, it's illegal. That's why the American people need to take their country back. Part of the book also has a movement behind it that keeps the book alive every day. It tells you where to vote every 2 and 4 years to people who are going to fix this and not be part of it and facilitate it. But more importantly, it shows you where to vote every day with your wallet, because you vote several times a day. And we tell you, stop buying Chinese products and services, goods and services, and stop buying those from China, and stop investing in companies who do significant business inside of China. Stop investing in their investments in China as well. The power of the human.
What chapter is that in your book?
Pardon me?
Is that a chapter in your book where you cover who to vote for with your dollars?
It's not directly because, you can't take one of the most complex subjects on planet Earth, boil it down into the book for everybody on the planet to read and cover everything. That's the reason there's a movement that keeps the book alive. You have to have the book to understand what's going on, but the movement tells you it's a destination. It's in development now. It's a landing page, but as the time of the book that was published a week ago, that movement tells you where to spend your money, where to buy American, and with our solid allies and not the allies that are aligned with the Chinese Communist Party. You are, like, I'll say it again, you are in World War III today. Your government is compromised. State, federal, local are compromised. They got you into this situation. Rare earth, the CCP cornered the market on rare earths. We allowed that to happen for 30 years. But all that is coming to a head right now. And this is what I'm trying to explain to the audience is this is exactly what World War III looks like. The book will educate you. It's written to every American, and it will enlighten you, and it will elevate your thinking, and it'll give you a framework to decode what has happened in the past, what is happening in the future, and you're able to look around and scan with critical thinking to understand really how you're being played. One other point.
Casey, I want to ask you a question because this is so important. You talked about a movement. How can, in addition to getting your book, I think everybody should get the book, The Red Tsunami, but how can American people join or get involved with this movement?
Well, you just sign up for the movement. It's called freedomforever.global, not freedomforever.com. It's .global because freedom is global. We get our freedom from God. It is guaranteed by the Constitution. And over time, that freedom has been taken back from the US government, from the American people. The Constitution gives all the power to each and every person.
What was
and
that?
The government has been taking it.
Freedom from what?
Freedomforever.global. And it's a membership movement. And again, it's a landing page right now. So make a note of that. Over the next couple of months, it'll be live, but it'll be a destination on where to spend your money, where to get the truth. Mainstream media is not giving you the truth, and you are in World War III today. That's it. There she is.
Okay, so everybody go to freedomforever.global. And so landing page, watch the video, join the movement, be educated. My goodness, we need to be educated because there are forces out there against us. I love what you said about being Christian, Corey. This is a spiritual battle, America. This is a spiritual battle that we need to get involved with and fight. We have a republic if we can keep it, and we need to keep it by fighting for freedom. I really enjoy you, Casey. We've had you on before. You're a wealth of information. We can't fit it all in. But any last words before we go on to our next guest?
Well, I'm not a book guy, didn't want to write a book, but to cut through all the noise in your life out there, this is the book you need to buy if you love your family, if you love the family before you that gave you your freedom and the people that fought for your freedom. You are now charged with fighting for your freedom and your country's freedom. It's on you. It's not on the military. And buy the book. Hopefully you'll give it a very strong review so it'll go out and it'll go viral. And the book is not about me. It's about you.
The Red Tsunami by Casey Fleming, an expert in this area. He cares about America. You should care about America too. meaning people out there listening. We're on WPAT to 10 million people. So get the book, be informed, join the movement. Casey, I'd love to have you on again. Thank you so much for joining us. I'd love to see you next time. Quickly, a couple of seconds, your last thoughts to our audience.
Well, this book is written for everyone on the left and everyone on the right. We are all being played equally. And this is a discussion book for everybody, for family members and people left and right. We all have to unite together. Our enemy does not want that to happen. They don't want you to be informed, and they don't want you to unite or to take action. The book and the movement solve that.
The movement, one more time, I want to get to it. It is One more time. What is the website?
Freedomforever.global. And it's just a landing page right now.
It's okay. You can join freedomforever.global. Thank you, Casey. We understand. We love what you're standing for. I hope everything works out. Let's stay in touch. God bless you.
Thank you, Gary. All the best.
Hello, Stephen. My good friend is here.
Hi, how you doing?
Very good. Very good. Good to see you, my friend. And
Please tell me you got the book.
I sent you a note.
Oh, it's not showing on your, yeah, it's not showing. There you go. Now it is.
I got to put it against me. I sent you a note that I got it, and I've started reading it. Thank you.
So what do you think?
I think it's very touching. You know, I'm still in the very beginning. There's my bookmark, but I think everybody should think about getting this book. It's a town called Sutherland Springs. Tell us about the book and how they can get a copy of it.
Well, it's a book about, yes, what happened in Sutherland Springs, but it's about much more than that. It's about growing up in a very small town that's Mayberry, USA, if you will. It's about me raising children in that town with traditional values and stuff. And it gives people an idea of the people that died there, who they were also. And it was a rough write to write that book. But we did it, and we got the book out there because it needs to be heard. It made it to the #1 bestseller in Christian biography at the time, and also made it to the #1 best-selling new release when it was released.
Let's give some. We have some extra time today, so I can go into this and feel relaxed. People who haven't heard it, I need to just say I'm very excited to talk to Stephen. He is a famous person, but he is also a hero in my mind. He doesn't like to call himself a hero, but I willfully call him that. There was a terrible day a few years ago, 2017, where a madman entered the church with a gun with the intention of killing everybody. He almost succeeded. But there was gunshots heard. Stephen was in his home barefoot, grabbed his rifle, and stepped outside, yelled at the guy, and the guy turned to him and shot. All of a sudden, it's the OK Corral, Sunday afternoon, without any warning. The guy's shooting 10 shots at Stephen. Stephen ducks behind a car and shoots 6 times and hits him 6 times. Thank God. God protected you. The bullets went over your head. The bullets went into the car in front of you, but you were not hit. You saved that. I believe there were, unfortunately, 26 people killed. How many were injured, Stephen?
20 more were injured.
Only 3 people walked out that were not hit. Is that correct?
That's correct.
God bless you for doing that. So this is a book about America, a town called Sutherland Springs. You can go to his website. It's at barefootdefender.org. Is that right?
Barefootdefender.com. Thebarefootdefender.com.
There it is. Okay. But I'm going to show you, you also represent this organization. Let's talk about this for a second.
Gun Owners America.
That's it. And here's you just spoke at the Dan River Church. You are a speaker. Not only are you a speaker, but you're a trainer. You go to churches and other organizations to train them how to be prepared for something crazy like a madman or a madwoman coming in with a gun. It's very important to be prepared. And there's a lot that Gun Owners is doing. Gun owners, let's be honest, you don't get the press that the NRA does, but you do a lot of work behind the scenes that they don't do. So the work that Gun Owners of America does, which is gunowners.org, is very, very important. Very important.
Well, we are fighting for the rights of your children and grandchildren and for the next generation. We don't believe in any compromise when it comes to your Second Amendment. We believe it said shall not be infringed, and we truly believe that the Constitution and the founding fathers believed shall not be infringed means exactly that. They didn't come back from a hunting trip. They just came back from uh, winning their freedom from a tyrannical government.
This is your website. Here's the book, right? Can you
That's
see it
my
on the screen? Yeah. Please
and
go ahead.
that will take you, or that link on my website will take you directly to Amazon where you can purchase the book.
Here you go. It's Amazon, A Town Called Sutherland Springs by Stephen Willeford and Rachel Howe. Thank you. Both of them signed my book. I appreciate it. Who is Rachel?
Rachel's my daughter, and she's the co-writer of it. I sent her to Texas A&M where she had a 4.0 GPA at Texas A&M to be a creative writer, and that was before this happened. And so when it happened, they wanted to give me a ghostwriter because I'm not I'm a plumber by trade, and I told them I couldn't do that, that I needed to get my daughter to do it. And they asked if she was any good. I said, I might be a little biased. I'm her father, but I think she's great. And when we sent them a couple of chapters, they said, no, she's not great. You lied to us. They said she's magnificent.
That's great. That's fantastic. I love it. Well, tell her thank you. Thank you for signing my book. Thank you for sending it. We exchanged books. I sent you my book, The Jesus Gospel, which is jesusgospel.com. Jesus Gospel. It's the first time anybody has combined the four Gospels word for word by only using the words in the Gospels to a single story in a timeline. Hey, as a Catholic, when I was Catholic, people started teaching me the Bible. I said, I wanted to read the story of Jesus from beginning to end. And they said, it doesn't exist. It exists now. Go to jesusgospel.com, jesusgospel.com. Today, I want to continue, my good friend, and talk. And I did meet you when I went to Texas. It was great. We had lunch together. I do consider you my friend. Today, I want to talk about Alex Jeffrey Preddy. I've watched that video so many times. I cannot tell what's going on. And there's been so many people have an opinion. I'm so confused. And I think a lot of other people are confused. And then we hear that, oh, all those ICE agents have lawyered up, and that means they think they're guilty. And can you help with this? Can you provide any clarity?
Well, I can't provide any clarity on his guilt or innocence. That's not for me to decide. That will be decided within a court.
Okay.
And I truly believe that if you were going to carry a gun, even if you're law enforcement, you should have legal defense and prepaid legal, like right to bear or something like that. But so I'm really do not want to get into whether ICE had the right to shoot him or not, but I will talk about, because right away they said, oh, well, he must have been looking for trouble because he had a um, very expensive pistol with a red dot sight on it. He had two fully loaded magazines, so and he was at a protest. He
So
must have
what?
been looking for trouble.
Right? Right. So what?
Okay, so I have attended protests before with an AR-15 on my chest and a CZ-75B on my side when I attended the protests. Was not looking for trouble. So there's that. I don't know what you think. Alex had the right to carry a gun to a protest.
Yes.
He had the right, and he had the right to protest.
Right.
However, he does not have the right to obstruct law enforcement.
To impede the progress of a lawful act.
Absolutely. But that being said, just because he impeded doesn't mean he needed to be shot.
No, we all agree on that.
So the only thing we're discussing here is, was there a reasonableness of the officer to see that he might have been violent and that someone's life was in danger. And that's not for me to even discuss at all. I will say Donald Trump, and I just call balls and strikes. I'm not a forever Trumper, nor am I a never Trumper. Uh, when Donald Trump said, "Oh, he had two loaded magazines and a expensive gun, he was looking for trouble. He shouldn't have had that at a protest."
What? But why wouldn't you have? If you're gonna have a gun, you should have an expensive gun that works well.
Yeah, I would say that Donald Trump misspoke, or we have a severe difference in opinion. He may not have really had the opportunity to think about what he was actually saying.
Yeah, we all know he's fed information sometimes.
Well, well,
I-
sometimes, and honestly, if you're in the camera's eye 100% of the time, how often are you going to say something without actually having time to think about it?
well, if you're Biden, you do
And
it
I'm
now.
not I'm not making excuses for him, but I'll disagree with what he said.
There's nothing wrong with that. All I can say is Biden was wrong 99 out of 100 times. So, let's give Trump a pass. Let me ask you a question. The type of weapon he had was a Sig Sauer. What was the actual model?
It was a SIG 320. And see, some people have said that that might actually, that's the very gun that there's been a whole lot of what they call uncommanded discharges. That's the very model that has become under question, and have videos of like a motorcycle police officer with his hands on the handlebar and his pistol went off in his holster. And some people are the very model that is really controversial. Now it won the military contract. So it is the Army, Navy, Marine, and Air Force. They all have SIG 320s.
Wow.
So now and I think the Air Force, after the shooting of the Air Force guy, they pulled all of the pistols out, and they just went through all the pistols. Then they found out later that it was actually somebody that pointed it and pulled the trigger at. And it wasn't, that one wasn't an uncommanded discharge, but it made the Air Force look at all of them. And out of all of them that they had, like 2% of them would actually discharge without the trigger being pulled.
That's a lot. That's a high percentage.
Exactly. And that's the issue is, okay, people say, oh, that's very, very rare, and mine's always worked for me. And
Oh
if
my
I
God.
if I had a SIG 320, it would look really nice on my wall, but I wouldn't bet my life on it.
Thank you. That clears up a lot. And I really appreciate it.
But and whether they're saying when the officer pulled it from Alex that he was walking away with it, and some people said that you can see it actually discharge. And
I couldn't see that. Could you?
again, I'm not going to, and especially with what's going on with AI, because
Gosh, you're right. You're right.
so people choose their side, and then they want to find videos that match their narrative, and people are offering those videos. I've seen a video where clearly the guy had his phone in his right hand, and then I've seen video where he clearly had that SIG in his right hand. So somebody has, with AI,
It's unbelievably powerful and scary.
it is. Now I am sure the jury will see the real video. And I honestly, I am pro ICE 100%. I'm pro ICE for what they're doing, but I don't make excuses when bad judgment happens, even with someone I agree with what they're doing. So I'm taking the let's just talk about whether Alex had the right to have the gun there, and that answer is yes.
Let's continue because we're coming to the end of a time. We'll be able to talk a little bit afterwards, as you know, but when we're on the air, we got about a minute left. I want to share a couple of things with you. So please go to gunowners.org, gunowners.org. They are in the background, but they're doing amazing, important things regarding the Second Amendment. And the Second Amendment is so important. It's the second thing that the founding fathers said we should have in this country. So that was interesting. We want to talk also about your book, A Town Called Sutherland Springs. Go to his website, which is thebarefootdefender.com, and you could click on the link and it'll take you to Amazon. A touching book written by yourself, Stephen, and your lovely daughter. And again, thank you for sending me a copy and for both of you signing it. And we really appreciate everything that you've done regarding that. So please go to those websites, thebarefootdefender.com and Gun Owners of America. Thank you very much for joining us. And we're off the air. But we're still on the air with YouTube. We have a couple of seconds that we can you get this.
I had a really interesting breakfast this morning.
Let's hear it.
Johnny Langendorf, the man that I flagged down at the stop sign, contacted me the other day and wanted to meet me for coffee. And so I had coffee and breakfast with him at a local diner here in the Sutherland Springs area.
How do you know him? Remind us who he is.
He is the young man that drove the truck that I flagged down at the stop sign. And we chased the shooter 11.6 miles.
Okay, so let me bring people up to speed with that. After you shot the guy, you hit him 6 times. 3 of the shots actually hit him. They were 2 were relatively serious, but they didn't quite bring him down. So he got in his car and started to drive away. And you hailed down this other gentleman, hopped in his car, his truck, I believe, and then you followed him.
Yes, yes.
What's his name again?
Johnny Langendorf.
All right, tell us what happened at breakfast.
And so Johnny called me up, and it's been several years since I've seen Johnny. And now he's a trainer, works for a fitness center, and he's gotten way more muscular than he used to be. When I first met him, when this happened, he was thin framed and stuff, and now he's quite yeah. He's actually gained a lot of weight in a good way, not a bad way. And
I'm getting it in a bad way.
and yeah, I'm gaining. I told him that too. I'm on the other end. I've been losing in a good way and not a bad way. And while we were at breakfast, apparently 6 retired police officers came in and met at the restaurant, and the waitress told them, "Do you know who those guys are at that table over there?" And we ended up having a really good discussion with 6 retired law enforcement officers where I told them I really appreciate law enforcement and appreciate their service to our nation. And if you're out there listening to this and you're a law enforcement, understand I never wanted to see red and blue lights more in my life than that day. I appreciate what you do for our country. However, law enforcement is, in my opinion, second responder. You are your own first responders. Police can't be everywhere all the time. And
how many minutes did it take him to come to Sutherland Springs on that day?
well, they were 7 minutes behind me. From the first 911 call till the first law enforcement officer showed up, they were 19 minutes behind the first 911 call.
So probably there was at least, I'm estimating 30 shots fired during that time between you and the other person.
Oh, way more than that. Way more than that. The killer had dropped 15 30-round magazines in and around.
Whoa, wait. I'm sorry. 15, 30 round, 10 is 300, 450. He shot 450. Oh my goodness. Was it
And that's just out of his AR-15. He also had a pistol with multiple magazines.
500 shots that day? Wow.
FBI estimated over 700 rounds.
Wow. Wow. And you had only 6, but every one of yours was
I had 8. I hit him 6 out of
6 out of 8.
6 shots that I fired. The other 2 were still in my gun.
Oh, but you didn't shoot them.
I had 2 unfired.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fine. Yeah. God bless you. Thank God that you're a good shot. You stopped more death. Stephen, it's always a pleasure. Buy his book, A Town Called Sutherland Springs. Are you speaking anywhere in the future, any place?
Well, I'm going to be in Phoenix, Arizona on the 20th and 21st of this month at a attorneys on retainer event. So I'm going to Phoenix, Arizona for that. And then I've got several things next month.
Anything in Florida?
What's that?
Anything in Florida?
Well, I had one in Florida, but it got canceled.
Yeah, I remember. It was the storm or something. What was it?
No, it was supposed to happen next weekend, but due to and it was actually put on by Faith-Based Security Network, and they had to have a certain amount of people to sign up for the event, and they didn't get it by the deadline, so they canceled it so that
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, if you ever do come to Florida, I'll come and see you. I've got to get going now.
I guess maybe we should have been on your show talking about it, and maybe they would have got enough people signed up for it.
We did. Don't you remember? We did talk about it.
Yeah.
I wish we did. Of course, we're in New York, and I think that show was in Jacksonville, I believe it was, right?
I don't even remember now.
Yeah, I believe it was.
It got canceled, and so now I'm doing what they call Guns N' Roses here
Guns
in
N' Roses. I like that.
Memphis, and it's the day before Valentine's Day. We've got several firearms that have been donated for an auction um, to benefit GOA, which right now we have an auction on guns.com that's going on, a Ted Nugent rifle.
All
And
right. Ted
Ted,
Nugent.
Ted Nugent signed it. We had it Cerakoted. He signed it. It comes with a signed guitar from Ted Nugent. His
Wow.
his book signed, a challenge coin and a pick and a hat signed by Ted Nugent, and it's being auctioned. Auction started today. So go to guns.com, find the Ted Nugent rifle. You can bid on that and help drive the price up and help raise money for gun owners of America.
Guns.com, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Or gunowners.com or guns.com?
Guns.com.
That's this one right here. This one right here, yes?
And if you want, I can hang on 1 second and I can give you the item number and you can look it up and bring up a picture of that gun.
Let's just search for new.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's Gun Broker.
All right, there we go.
It's gunbroker.com. So go to gunbroker.com. Item number, you ready?
Yep. Hold on.
1154.
Goodness gracious. Okay. What is it? 1154
714774.
Let's see if that works. There you go. Holy cow. A guitar by Ted Nugent.
The guitar, it's got the gun in there, it's got a Gideon optic scope, the hat's signed by Ted Nugent. Um,
So
Yeah.
can we see what the bidding is at now?
I haven't been there yet.
Yeah, it's 1 cent so far.
Well, they just opened the auction today.
All right. Well, I'll tell you, I'm
Out there,
gonna.
man, I want to get out there and put a $100 bid on it and get things rolling.
Yeah, maybe I will. Maybe I'll beat you. I'll do 101, Stephen.
Get out there, but there it is. It's a Palmetto State Armory Jackal. And it was custom Cerakoted by Red Status.
What kind of gun? What kind of gun is that?
It's a Palmetto State Armory Jackal, and that's why you see the Palmetto State Armory logo there. There where the orange is, if you could open that up and see the gun, that orange is actually Ted Nugent's signature on that rifle. On the hand grip of the rifle, he's got his logo on it. And all that stuff, his book and everything else, they all are going to be auctioned.
All right, Stephen. It's always a pleasure. God bless you. Gunowners.org and thebarefootdefender.com. Get his book, A Town Called Sutherland Springs.